Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us. People are coming on as we get started here, but we do have a pretty big group signed up for today's session. So we're just going to hang tight for like a minute or two before we get started. So we will begin shortly. Thank you. All right, well, just to be respectful of everyone's time this afternoon, we can go ahead and get started. I want to thank you for joining us for today's webinar, Unlocking Facebook and Instagrams with Scott Clanin of Clanin Marketing. Before I hand it over to Scott, just a few quick things to mention. Today's webinar is brought to you by a handful of community partners. So in the follow-up email that you will receive tomorrow, I'm going to include links to all of their websites so that you can check out their organizations that are local to the Champaign-Urbana area as well. In that follow-up email, you will also receive a recording of today's session, so you can go back and listen to any of the information Scott has shared. And you'll also get the link that Scott shares at the beginning of the presentation, where you can download a copy of his PowerPoint as a PDF. You are welcome to ask questions throughout this session. We just ask that you submit those via the chat box, and once Scott is done with his presentation, we will go ahead and address those. We all have plenty of time to get to your questions, so drop them at any time in that chat, but we'll address them afterwards. So at this time, I'll hand it over to Scott and we can get started.
Excellent. Thank you, Jordan, and good afternoon. Thank you for joining us for our Unlocking Facebook and Instagram Ads webinar. I'll be sharing my screen, so one moment while I pull that up. All right, Jordan, just to confirm, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Excellent. Well, again, welcome. Today's webinar is Unlocking Facebook and Instagram Ads. This is an exciting one. This is actually a brand new webinar that Jordan and I have developed. Again, we want to thank the SBDC and all of our local community partners for making today's webinar and all of our future webinars across 2024 possible. So like I said, this is a newer one. I'm really excited to share some tips and tricks with you. We've certainly talked about Instagram ads. We've talked about Facebook ads in other webinars that we've conducted over the years, but this is a newer, refreshed one where we're kind of blending them all in one and going over all the little secrets and different tips and best practices for deploying and managing paid advertising through Facebook and Instagram. Before we get started, I also have a couple of housekeeping items. If you would like a download of today's presentation, you can go to our website at claninmarketing.com/workshops. Just scroll about midway through the page and you're going to see a For Attendees section. Just fill out your name and email, and again, you'll get a PDF copy of today's presentation. In addition, at the very top of this page, we've partnered with the SBDC over the past number of years to provide the community with free marketing webinars, everything from email marketing, branding, website design, and more. And so right now, Jordan and I have a schedule all the way out through April of 2024, and that schedule can be found at the top of this website here. So I hope you can join us in one of our future webinars. Again, these are all free to attend. I believe all but one will be conducted live over Zoom. One of them will be held at the Champaign Public Library in near downtown Champaign, where we're going over ways to create really fun Instagram reels. So that will be more of a tutorial, follow along workshop. So I'm looking forward to that. As Jordan mentioned, my name is Scott Clanin. I am the owner of Clanin Marketing. We're a marketing creative agency based in downtown Champaign, and we serve clients all across the Midwest, anything from branding, website design, video production, and more. But our company started in the world of digital. I started kind of the plans of the business back in about 2010, 11, 12, when social media, Facebook, at least at the time we didn't have Instagram. But when Facebook at that time started dipping their toes into the world of business accounts, and all of a sudden now businesses could chime into the conversation online and have this digital footprint, this digital presence. And so that's how we got started, is helping businesses navigate the world of digital marketing, which was the Wild West back in the day. And then since then, we've grown and expanded our line of services to help our clients in other marketing areas. So I'm excited to be talking about digital. I've been talking about digital marketing for a very long time, and it constantly changes, as I'm sure you've all seen. One of the big changes that we've seen over the past couple of years is this introduction of Meta. Meta is basically the umbrella company of Facebook. And Facebook purchased Instagram a number of years ago. So anytime we're talking about running ads on Facebook, running ads on Instagram, you're actually going to be doing that all in one platform. And that's a platform I'll be showing you here in a little bit. But again, both of these networks are owned by the same company. And when you run an ad on Facebook, it's very easy to run that same ad, that same campaign on Instagram. And I'll be showing you ways to do that. Okay, this is the agenda for today. We have a ton to cover. Like I mentioned, all of my webinars, I only have about 45 minutes with you today. I want to make sure we leave time for questions and answers. And so, like Jordan mentioned, if you have a question at any point, be sure to leave that in that chat box in that Zoom bar there at the top or bottom of your screen. But again, today is really that tip of the iceberg. I want to show you, again, those best practices on deploying a Facebook ad, deploying an Instagram ad, things that we see our clients miss oftentimes that are really going to help just optimize your campaign spend and just improve your ROI on your advertising dollars. So this is our agenda for today. We're going to talk about the different ad types and most importantly, the objectives that you're looking to achieve on Facebook and Instagram, best practices for ad creation, targeting the right audience, and we're going to spend a little bit of time talking about budgeting and ROI. One of the beauties of digital marketing is that we have access to your metrics in real time, so we can make informed decisions as metrics start rolling in. And I'm going to give you a little benchmark that I like to look for when we're doing a quick scan of how successful that ad is performing on the back end. Just some tips before you begin. The world of digital marketing, whether you're running ads on Google, on Facebook, on Instagram, or any other social media site, you need to make sure you have some of your ducks in a row. And one of the first piece is make sure you have your brand established. A lot of times people think of your brand as just your logo, but it's so much more than that. You really need to understand, of course, who you are as a business or organization, what your tone is, what's your overall messaging, why you got started, why are you passionate about what you do? Again, the copy, the language, and then brand identity comes into all that. And you want to make sure that's established before you start running a lot of campaigns, because a lot of times we're sending people to our website, and we want to make sure your website is your best foot forward. Second piece here is audience identification. We're going to go over two quick examples on thinking about your audience and then showing you ways to target them on Facebook. But it's really important to really have that almost laid out in front of you before you dive in to Facebook, or it could get very overwhelming. It will be asking you, tell us more about the audience that you're looking to target. Tell us more about their demographics. Tell us more about their interests. And so if that's the first time you're thinking about it, on the back end setting up your ad, it may get a little complicated. So make sure you really think about your audience before you dive into Facebook ads. And it's okay to have different groups of audiences for maybe the different products and services that you offer. So that could be a great team exercise with your team to really think about, who are we looking to target, and can you create a buyer persona, a customer persona for each one of those buckets? Third, make sure before you are diving into your Facebook and Instagram ads, where are you sending people to? What are your overall goals and objectives, which is the fourth one here? A lot of times we're sending people to your website, but every once in a while we might want to send people to your Etsy page if you're selling something there. So really think about, where are you sending people to? The main goal of advertising is we want them to take what's called a CTA, or a call to action. buy now, shop now, sign up. So what is your call to action and where do you want to send people to? You don't necessarily have to send someone to a website or link. You could just say, hey, we're having our grand opening. Here's our address on this date. We invite you to come join us. You're not sending anyone anywhere. That's just more of an awareness campaign. But for a lot of us, we want to send a user somewhere else. And that's where that third objective is. And then, of course, what do we want to achieve with running ads on Facebook and running ads on Instagram? Okay, so when you're running ads on Facebook and Instagram, a lot of times when I've asked clients this, I'm like, have you advertised? And I often hear, yes, I have boosted posts. They're not wrong. Boosting a post is technically advertising on Facebook, but there's a whole nother world of advertising that boosting post doesn't get you. And that is a tool called the Ads Manager. I don't have a URL for you today just because it's so long, but if you just go to Google and type in the Facebook Ad Manager, this is what's going to come up. This is where you get started when you're running ads on Facebook and when you're running ads on Instagram. So it's the all-in-one tool. This is where you'll manage everything, set your ads up, monitor, track metrics. When you get there, this is what this page looks like. You'll say Meta up in the corner. Again, this just type into Google Facebook Ad Manager. And then in the blue button, you're going to say Go to Ads Manager. This is where you're going to get set up. This is where you'll add in your credit card information and then do all the other things that I just mentioned. Okay. Once you're in there, and part of it, going back to Ads Manager real quick, don't be nervous diving into a new platform. It simply just takes time, right? Learning where certain things are, but they've made it pretty easy. It will walk you through what you need to do. You know, tell it one of the first questions I will ask you, and that's what we're going to go over next. What are your objectives for running ads on Facebook and Instagram? What type of ad do you want it to be? Who's your audience? It's going to be asking you a ton of questions, and that's what I've laid out for you today. I want to walk you through what kind of these steps are for creating these ads on these platforms. So then when you get in there, it's hopefully a little easier for you. So you already know what your objectives should be. You already know who your audience is, and it should be a pretty quick and easy setup. So again, everything that we're talking about today, we're specifically referring to the Facebook Ad Manager account. Okay, and it's no cost to sign up for that at all. There's no cost to, outside of spending money to run ads, there's no cost to have like a subscription to the Ad Manager account. Okay, so let's talk about Facebook and Instagram ad types. What types of ads are available to me when I want to advertise on Facebook, and your objectives. So what do I want to achieve on Facebook or Instagram? So before you choose what ad to create with the Meta Ads Manager or Facebook Ad Manager, you want to consider what your goals are. Are you really just looking to increase awareness? Are you looking to increase sales on your website? Signups for a newsletter? Just general website traffic so they can learn a little more about you. There's a variety of different objectives. I have laid all of these out for you in the next couple of slides here. So this is great. If you do want to download this presentation, it will have everything in here. But I will say when you go into your Ads Manager account, and one of the first questions it will ask you is choosing your ad objective, and it will say, which ad objective do you want to select? And it will give you a little definition there. So I want to walk through each one of these for you, because again, this is the first question that's going to be asking you when you are running a campaign. The first one is a very easy one, awareness. Your goal, bring awareness to your business. You want to reach the largest number of people who are most likely to remember your ad. This is great for new businesses, those having a grand opening. Maybe you're rebranding, you're changing your name. You need to let the community know. This is an awareness objective. The second one is traffic. I will say traffic is probably the most popular one that I see when we are working with our clients. Increase traffic to an online destination of your choice. You get to add whatever URL you want to add in there. It does not have to be the one that you put on your Facebook page. Send people to a destination like an online store, a website, etc. So that's two quick and easy ones. Awareness, just more eyes on your content, or traffic, really more clicks, right? You want to get people over to your website. Next is engagement. Maybe you want to start a conversation with people online. And maybe you want to have direct messages with some of your customers through Facebook Messenger. You want them, at the end of the day, you want them to take a desired action on your ad. This would be an engagement objective. Another one could be a lead objective. This is great for those who, let's say a roofing company that comes out and provides a free quote, right? So what I would do if I was a roofing company, after a really bad hailstorm, I would immediately run a lead generation ad to where what this ad is, you run an ad, and instead of taking someone over to your website, a form actually pops up and it's pre-populated with the user's information because Facebook has all of our information, name, email, phone, whatever you want to collect. And they click submit, and then you as the advertiser gets that information. We've run this for a number of clients in the past, and it's been pretty successful. Now, a lot of times there are people that don't remember signing up for you to contact them. It could be a mistaken click where they accidentally submitted this lead gen form, but there is a way to collect leads if you offer free quotes, free estimates. That's a great ad objective for your campaign. Excuse me. Next is sales. So if you run an e-commerce store, you sell products through your own website. This is a great objective, sales objective. You can upload your sales catalog, show all your different products that you offer in different categories. That would be a good one. And then the final one is app promotion. I will say I personally do not have experience in app promotion objectives, but this is to get people on mobile devices to install your app through the App Store. I believe it's just the market that we're in. We don't see a whole lot of people have their own very expensive app on the App Store, but if you do, there is a way for you to promote your app through Meta using the app promotion ad objective. So those are it. Those are the main ad objectives when you are running an ad through Meta: awareness, traffic, engagement, leads, sales, and app promotion. Again, this will be the first question they ask you when you do set up your ad. And this is what it looks like. So when you do click create, you'll see a green create button up at the top of the screen when you go into Ad Manager. And again, this is that first question they ask you. Choose your ad objective. And now it will be a breeze since we've already gone through those slides. But in case you forget, they do give you, as you click each one of those, they do give you a little bit of a description there as to what the ad objective is. Okay. So now that we have your ad objective, and this isn't necessarily the next step that it's going to ask you, but this is a big piece when you are creating your ad, is trying to determine what type of ad you want to create. And I'll be sharing all the different ad types and sharing my personal favorite that we use all the time. So whether you want to use video, images, or words, or a combination of these elements, there is a format that fits the story that you're looking to tell online. The first one, very easy, a photo ad. An example here is the Audi here. Watch Audi live now and experience the all-new Audi Q5 live and in real time. They have a nice photo of the car, and then their call to action, again, that CTA, is learn more. You get to select what you want that call to action to be, but this is a quick and easy one. For photos, I certainly recommend investing in your own custom stock photography, working with a local photographer. It makes such a difference when you have high quality photos of your own. It makes your content stand out a lot better than trying to take something quickly with your cell phone. If you're taking notes, I do want to share 2 sites available to you that you could, if you're in a pinch and you don't have a ton of money to spend for stock photography. I like to use Pexels, PEXELS.com, or Unsplash, unsplash.com. These are 2 commercial license-free photo libraries that you can use for commercial purposes, and you don't have to purchase the photo. Of course, you're a little limited if you're searching for something very specific, it may not have that on there. But those are 2 free ones. And of course, you could, if you don't want to work with a photographer, but if you want to spend maybe a little bit of money, Shutterstock and Adobe Stock are 2 great stock libraries too. You can get a little more specific with your search. So again, if you just want to promote a photo, this is a great example of an ad format available to you in Facebook. The video doesn't play here, but of course, a video ad. Short format video is king anymore, right? We see that through stories, we see that through reels. You can showcase so much in such a small amount of time. And that's why videos are extremely popular. Promoting something through stories, if you're unfamiliar with stories, these are pieces of content that you can post to what's called your story. And after 24 hours, that piece of content disappears and removes, unless you want to pin it to your highlights. So if you're interested in learning more about that, certainly keep an eye out for an Instagram kind of how-to webinar in the future. But you can certainly promote a variety of ads or short videos specifically within your stories. Messenger, I again don't have experience with this, but there is a way for you to advertise within Facebook Messenger. But the one I want to focus on today is carousel, because this is my favorite one. This is the one that we see probably the best success with, because I think a lot of us on the call, we have a lot to talk about our business and about our organization. We probably have a couple different products, a couple different services that is maybe hard to market if we just pick one photo. What do we do? Especially if we have different areas of the website that we want to send people to. Carousel is the answer. You can add up to 10, let me silence my phone here, sorry about that. You can add up to 10 different image cards to your Facebook campaign. And we've all seen these, right? You're scrolling through Facebook, you see these and you swipe right, and each one of these cards move. There's a different image on each card. You can then customize the title underneath each one and that call to action. And then my favorite thing is that each card, if you wanted, you could take people to a different section of your website. So since we offer a variety of services, I could have one card that says website services, and then it just points to a page on our website all about our design services, one about video, one about graphic design. So that's the beauty of carousel, is that it's so flexible. You don't have to do up to 10. I recommend maybe, if anything, 4 or 5, but you could do 10. And then it will automatically shuffle the best performing card first, which is really cool. So it's flexible, add multiple photos, add multiple URLs, all in one ad. So you don't have to run 10 different ads. You have to run 10 different things with different copy for each one. It's one ad with multiple options. I love the carousel format. Again, this is another photo of what it looks like on Facebook on the left. Again, we've seen these before. So this is, a skincare line, maybe makeup remover. So they have a face wash. It looks like they might have a lotion. So again, you can maybe look at all the different products that they have. Same thing, this is what it looks like on Instagram. It looks slightly different. Instead of the different cards, they have just those little dots. If you look at that blue dot next to the kind of send button on Instagram, that just means there's multiple things to look at there. Again, this is sponsored. You'll see the little sponsored tag underneath the business or organization name, meaning that they're currently paying for that ad. Both of these are using the carousel format. We're going to talk about carousel a little more here in a bit. But the next one here is collection. If you have a large e-commerce store and you have a lot of different products on there, you can actually connect your store to Facebook and upload your collection. So this is an example from Adidas, to where even though it might look like I'm on their store right now, I'm actually just still in Facebook. I haven't even hit over to their website. So this is, again, a collection ad. And then the other couple examples I have, one is called an instant experience. You're going to see this option when you do set up your ad. So I at least want to give you an idea of what this is. I don't recommend, if you're new to advertising, I don't recommend starting with this one quite yet. It's a little harder to set up, but I love it. Basically what it is, if you have something that you're selling, and maybe it takes a little bit to explain what it is, okay? Or maybe it's a higher priced item, so it's a harder product to sell. You only have a little bit of time or a little bit of characters to put in your copy, right? Maybe like a sentence for the actual ad copy, and then maybe a photo or a graphic. They click that and then they land on your website. And your website should do a pretty good job of explaining what you have to offer. But an instant experience is kind of a middle person. It's a stopping point between the Facebook ad and your website. It's a very hyper-focused, tailored experience where they click the ad, and then this is only available on mobile devices. It comes up on your mobile phone. It almost looks like you're on their website, but it has maybe some videos, some galleries, some text there, a couple different call to action buttons where you can kind of maybe talk about that a little bit more and then send them to the website. So it's a kind of a stopping point. Really cool ad type. It's hard to showcase in PowerPoint, so certainly do some research on what this is, but it's a really cool ad format. We talked about lead ads. I apologize. It looks like it's a little blurry here. On the left-hand side, this just looks like a regular ad, but when I click learn more, it now takes me to that lead gen form that I talked about earlier. Your name, email, or phone number is already loaded in, and then they click submit, and you're done. The user could then click visit website and visit over to your website. But what I love about this, they never left Facebook. A lot of times, one of the key things when it comes to website design is really thinking about the user experience. And we want to try to make that experience as quick, as easy, and streamlined as possible. So the less number of clicks that someone should take, the better. And what I love about this is that if you're trying to get signups for something, you don't have to rely on them to go to the contact form okay, find my contact form, fill it out, click submit. They can do it all right here if you want them to maybe sign up for something. So this is a lead gen form. Okay, I know that was a lot so far, but I do want to end on one of the last, I guess you can consider this an ad format, a boosted post. If you currently run a business page, you've probably seen this little blue button that shows up at kind of the bottom of your post, a post that you've already made on your page. Back in the day, oh gosh, it's probably now 8, 9 years, 10 years ago. When you had let's say if we had 1,000 followers that followed us on Facebook and you posted something, I would say in the good old days, like 700 or 800 of your followers would see your content that you just posted. It was great. Well, then Facebook made a massive change to their algorithm in order for them to make more money. And if you have 1,000 followers and you posted something, maybe now 50, 60 some people would see it. And it was like that overnight. Well, when that happened, this little button came up. And this is boost to post. So you post something to your Facebook page, you want more eyes on it, you want to boost it out. This is where you can click this and you can boost that for a week or two for as little as, gosh, $5 or $10 for a few days. It's not very expensive at all. Again, you can only do this for existing pieces of content that you're looking to promote, okay? So I like it for announcing an event that you have coming up, making a big announcement, maybe sharing user-generated content that you've reposted. So there are some still good ways to use boosted posts. I'm not against boosting it at all. But the one thing I want to remind everyone, because I get this question asked a lot too, when you run an ad through the Facebook Ad Manager, okay, you set everything up, you run a carousel ad, and you have it off and running. I sometimes then get an email almost in panic saying, I don't see it on my Facebook wall. I don't see it on Facebook. Whatever you set up in Ads Manager does not hit the timeline of your Facebook or Instagram page. It is running, that ad is running on the stream, on the feed of the people that you're looking to target. So if you're targeting women between 35 and 60 and you're 27 and you don't see the ad on your Facebook page or on your feed, that's actually a good sign. You shouldn't be seeing the ad because you don't fall within that demographic. So again, anything that you run on Facebook Ad Manager runs and is displayed on the feed of those who fall within the targeted bucket that you're looking to target. Okay, let's go through best practices for ad creation. Now, these are not the end-all best practices. There are so many out there. So what I did was really went through and thought about the things that either I've missed personally when I've set up ads, issues that we've seen from clients where they set something up, maybe they forgot about it. So these are just kind of a random catch-all list of some best practices I wanted to share with you today. Okay, one of them, and this is new, and you could get in trouble for this, so pay close attention to this section here. Set special ad categories. If you're on the call and if you were planning to run an ad about credit cards, loans, anything financial related, employment, job offers, internships, real estate listings, available apartments, mortgage loans, or anything political, social issues, civil, anything with the economy, etc. This is a new section that came out a number of years ago called special ad categories. You have to declare if your ad falls into one of these, okay? And you can still run ads about these things. It's not like you can't advertise any of these special ad categories. You can, but Facebook needs to know if this ad falls within this. And if it does, basically what happens is your targeting settings, your audience targeting settings is eliminated. And it makes sense, right? If you're running an ad for housing, whoever's running the ad should not be able to then target by age, gender, ethnicity, etc. Okay, same thing for employment. It needs to just run to everybody. Okay, so make sure to set your special ad category. Make sure to set an end date. This is something that by default, it's kind of sneaky. Facebook does not automatically set an end date for you. So this is a screenshot. It says start date, but you'll see that the end is not set. So when you're going through and you're setting everything up, just go slow, okay? Go through each section. You're going to see the schedule. You're going to see the start date. You're going to see the time, and then just make sure you click set end date and when you want it to end. The other thing that I see people miss a lot, and I see ads at least once a week for this because they don't correct this, the location. United States is the default. Okay, I would say for most of us, we may not want to run an ad out the gate to the entire country. So you want to eliminate and cross off, exit out of the United States, and then type in maybe the county that you're looking to target, a couple of cities. You could do multiple counties. You could do the whole state of Illinois if you wanted to. Or just a tiny little town if you wanted to. There's a lot of different options, but again, by default, there's no end date, and they will say this will be running to the United States. I see this a lot of times. It will say, hey, this condo is available in Washington, D.C. I'm like, oh, okay. They didn't set. The one thing for housing is that you can set a regional target, but I could tell that, okay, they are just running this across the entire country, and they're probably wasting a lot of money because those aren't high quality clicks that are a higher chance that they're going to convert. Next, make sure that you connect your Instagram account. You're going to see this is another screenshot here. When you're setting up your ad, it will ask you, do you want to run this on Instagram? I think for a lot of us, we do, if you do have an Instagram account. So you can select your Instagram account in the dropdown, or if it hasn't been connected, just click that connect account button there. Make sure you have your content ready. So again, a lot of times the struggle that we see with our clients is they don't have content. They have plenty of stories that they could tell, behind the scenes things, and they have content that they can shoot, but they don't have it, right? They don't have videos, they don't have photos. And then when you go in and create an ad, that's where we see a lot of people struggle, because it's like, I don't know what to post. I don't have my content in front of me. So just make sure you have your content ready. Have your ad text ideas ready. So what is the copy of the ad? Remember to use less copy on the image graphic and more within the body of the ad. So what do I mean by that? When you create a graphic, let's say in Canva, and if you're unfamiliar with Canva, definitely look into it. It's an incredible platform. They have all the ad size, or the like Facebook ad sizes, graphics, and all things preloaded. You can select a template, you can add your own branding. We have a whole nother webinar just on Canva, but it's a great program. But a lot of times when sometimes I'll see an ad that it's just littered with a ton of copy. And honestly, I kind of scroll right through it because I don't want to read all of that. But if I saw, instead of a graphic with a ton of copy, I saw a really high quality image with maybe just a sentence or two above it, and then it says learn more. Okay, now I might pause and read what that is. I created just a fake business. I've used this in a couple of my other webinars, the Champagne Coffee House. And this is a Facebook ad, craving a coffee break, indulge in our rich, flavorful brews at Champagne Coffee House. Your perfect cup is ready to be served. One of the new things, I put these yellow stars. If you've already run some ads, this may be new next time you log in. They are now providing you with suggested text variations. So what's cool is that Facebook may switch out what that copy is. And as you type in the first one, what's your primary text, it gives you some other options. Or if you wanted to, you can click the button that says add text options and you can add more. Google has this for their Google search ads, so I think that's probably where they got the idea. But I love this because instead of being cornered into just using one text ad, now you have some options that Facebook can pull from, which is really cool. Just make sure you complete every field. So this is a screenshot when I am on the back end of Ad Manager. I've already gone through, I've added in what my budget is, who I'm looking to target, and now I want to create the ad, which is the fun part. I selected carousel as the option, and then it gives me, okay, now we need to add in all of your information. So this is our Champagne Coffee House, even though it's coming from the Clanin Marketing Facebook page. These are photos I actually pulled from Pixels, so these are free for me to use. And I add in, if you look on the left, I add in irresistible lattes, description, Champagne Coffee House, and then I can put my URL down there. On the right-hand side, this is then what it starts looking like. So I have my card, I have the little title, and then I have the description underneath it. What's really cool on the right-hand side is that you can preview your ad. You can see what this looks like in multiple different formats. So this is great in case you see something where it's like, oh, that's kind of cut off there. I should maybe crop that or use a different photo. Does my description look a little long? So it shows you what it looks like in a Facebook feed, an Instagram feed, and all the other different formats that Facebook will show your ad to through their network. What you can do at the top of that, it says add preview, that blue button, just toggle that on. You can click advanced preview. It will give you a pop-up window that shows your ad in so many different formats. And what's really cool is that if you have an intern maybe helping you with this, or if you want to receive some feedback from other people, you can click that share button, and that you can say, do you want this share button? I think it's like 30 days active or 60 days active. It will give you a link, a direct link to what your ads look like, so you can have other people look at them too. So that is all within the back end of your Facebook Ad Manager account. Okay, we're going to segue over to targeting the right audience. And this is what digital marketing, this is where it really shines, right? Because anytime, even when we're talking traditional advertising, it's all about getting the right message in front of the right people. And now we need to target the right people online. Facebook, I like Facebook, but I also don't like Facebook. So after 5 o'clock, I'm really not on Facebook very much. Simply because I know on the back end, like really what it does, right? I think it's a great platform for staying connected with people. But as a personal user, I know that I'm being sold, right? They're taking my information and advertisers are using that to run targeted ads. But marketing side of me, it's excellent, right? If you can find the right people online, it's great. But when you add in information about what are some of your favorite books, where's your hometown? Where do you live now? What's your job title? All that, yes, we're filling in the information, but all that is being used for marketing purposes. So I get questions that asked a lot of, how do they know like it's the right person? It's from our personal Facebook profiles and all the information that we are completing. This is a slide that I include in pretty much all of my webinars, but just to keep in mind, going back to one of the earlier slides, remember to take some time and think about who your targeted audience is. What is the customer, that buyer persona? Who do you want to talk to? What's important to them? Income, job status, background, education levels, hobbies, behaviors, lifestyle choices, interests, etc. Okay. We're going to do a quick example here in a bit, but you do have different options when you do run ads on Facebook. You could do kind of create the perfect buyer persona. So that's your core audience. So you can say, I want to target women who live in the Midwest who are interested in camping. That could be one. You know, if I'm running, maybe I'm a restaurant and we have Valentine's Day coming up, I want to target people within Champaign County who are married, in a relationship, recently engaged, and I want to run that ad for 2 weeks prior to Valentine's Day, you can do that. So there's a lot of really cool things that you could do. That's where core audience comes into play. Okay. You could do a custom audience. This is where maybe you have a CRM system. You collect customer names and email addresses for marketing purposes. If you do that for marketing purposes, you can actually upload that list to Facebook. Facebook can help try to connect those ads to those people or people like them, which is that third one, the lookalike audience. So use your customer information to find people similar to them on Facebook to really help expand your reach. Okay, we have about 20 minutes, but I want to make sure I go through at least a couple quick examples, and then I want to head over to metrics and budget. This is a real life example. I'm going to zip through this one, but for a moment, let's just kind of pretend that we are the marketing directors for this limousine company. And this limousine company wants to put a package together to drive people up to a Cubs game in Chicago. You have your own driver. It's kind of like a luxury Uber, if you will, but you have your own chauffeur driver. These are all black car vehicles. Take you to a Cub game, you enjoy the game, it comes with tickets, and then it drives you back. So that's kind of the quick summary of what we want to market, right? So for a moment, think about who would be interested in buying that package, right? When you think of a chauffeured black car service, that's someone who probably has a little more of a disposable income, right? Probably likes finer things, luxury products. Maybe they travel often. And the other thing too, I would hope they are a Cubs fan, right? We don't want to target someone who has more of a disposable income, who likes luxury things, who travels often, and as a Cardinals fan, they wouldn't be interested in this package. So when you're on the back end of your ads manager, one of the first things is that you're going to set an age. So in this case, just pulling from data that they already had, this limousine company had, we set the age to 30 to 65. They had 2 different garages, 2 different locations, one in Champaign and one in Indianapolis. And we determined that, okay, if you live in Champaign, of course, we can pick you up. But if you live within a 30-mile radius of our garage, we'll still pick you up. So you can see you can set your location and then whatever radius you want to target. And now we want to target people who have certain behaviors or interests. So people who are frequent travelers, if you travel often, you probably have a little more of a disposable income, right? So anytime you check into the airport or do anything like that, it may mark you as a frequent traveler. Those who may have an interest in first-class travel, luxury experiences, luxury products, resorts, magazines, lifestyles, etc. So include, you'll see at the top, include people who match at least one of the following. And then there's a second category, and must also match at least one of the following. They have to be a Chicago Cubs fan. Now, if we didn't put this targeted area within the second section, the and must also match, if we put Chicago Cubs and all that within the first column, what happens? We may be targeting Chicago Cubs fans, but fans that, yes, they're located within our target area, but maybe they're really not interested in traveling or they don't have that kind of more of a disposable income, who would be interested in having a private chauffeur service drive them up there. So this type of targeting hones you a little closer into the people that we want to target. Other quick one here, Abraham Lincoln. Let's say we work for a history museum. We have a new Abraham Lincoln display. We want to target all genders. Let's say between 25 to 65, Champaign, Leroy, McLean County, with a certain mile radius, which is really cool with your map. It's going to give you a little cool radius around the areas that you're looking to target. And we want to target people who have an interest in Abraham Lincoln, Civil War, American history. Okay. What's really cool is that you have a little needle here, and it will say, hey, your audience is defined. Great job. This is where you want to be. You want to be in the green. If we were to put in, okay, people who are Abraham Lincoln, Civil War history, who have an interest in those, but we only want to target maybe, let's say, a smaller community with like 500 people, that needle will probably be specific, and you don't want to do that, right? So you want to be right in the green. And again, that needle will update in real time as you're starting to add in certain interests and different demographic targeting in here. Okay, so these are actual screenshots from Ad Manager. This is what it looks like when you start setting up your ad. Okay, we have about 10 minutes here, but one of the things I wanted to talk about is budget. And the question I get asked a lot is how much should I spend on Facebook ads? And unfortunately it's not one answer because everyone is slightly different. But the one thing I want to be very clear on is there's no contract, there's no long-term commitment. You could start an ad today at 2 o'clock and you can stop it at 4 o'clock if you wanted to. Then there's no penalty. So you're in charge of the budget. You can get results honestly on any type of budget. We've seen people spend 50, 75, $100 on Google ads, all the way up to thousands of dollars a month on Facebook ads, and see results all across the board, right? The big thing on here is, I don't want to say start too small, but don't start too aggressively. Just start where it would be comfortable. We see a lot of clients and really think about like a daily campaign spend. Okay. When you set up your Google ads, I'm going to get my calculator out, but when you set up your, I keep saying Google, it's Facebook and Instagram. When you set up your Facebook ad, it will say, do you want to do a lifetime budget or a daily budget? I recommend just doing a lifetime budget. Okay, because a lot of times we already know how long we want to run that ad for. So we will say, okay, we want to run this for 30 days. We want to start it here. We want to end it here. I want to spend $350 during that time. Perfect. You will just set in that dollar amount into your lifetime budget, and Facebook will charge you up to that. Now, the big thing when it comes to Facebook ads are metrics. And this is where I want to give you a little bit of a benchmark. If you look at that top column, and again, this is a screenshot from the Facebook Ad Manager. Let's go through each one of these columns here. We have results, 711 link clicks. We go down the list, 82 link clicks. The other one, 11 page likes. Why does that say page likes? That was a different objective. That campaign's objective was to increase the following on the Facebook page. But the other two above, we want to get clicks over to a third-party website. Reach. Reach is the number of people that ad was shown. Okay. But then we have something called impressions. Now, what's the difference here? Impressions is the number of times the ad was shown. So let's say I see your Facebook ad on my stream. I see it 3 times. Then I'm the only one who sees it. Your reach would be 1, impressions would be 3, okay? Your cost per result, look at this, 70 cents a click. Now, during this time frame here, they spent a little under $500. The one below it, we got 82 clicks. They spent a little under $50, 60 cents per click. How cool is that? You can see how much you've spent per user hitting over to your website. When it ends, one column here, frequency. This is one I want you to keep an eye on. Frequency is the average number of times someone sees your ad, okay? And kind of that golden rule, but rule that I try to follow is we want to stay below about 6 or 7, okay? We do want your frequency to go up a little bit, right? We don't want it to just be 1 and that's it. It's kind of like the billboard when you're driving down an interstate. You see McDonald's, and you drive down, you see a law firm, you see another one, you see another one, and then, hey, there's another McDonald's one. You may start getting hungry. Where do you think? Probably McDonald's, right? So it's the frequency. We want people to see your ad a little bit, but we don't want to annoy them. And that's where after that 6 or 7, conversions are really going to start dipping. So in this case, the frequency there was great. But you may be thinking, okay, let's look at the second one here. I spent about $50. I got 82 link clicks. Is that good? How do I interpret that? How do I present that to my board or show this to my supervisor? It's all about what's called your click-through rate, your CTR rate. And your CTR should land between 2 and 5%. I have a little calculator thing here for you, but it weighs your clicks against your impressions. There is a little calculator you can use online too. Just type in click-through rate calculator, and then you can add in your impressions and clicks, and it will compute your small percentage. It seems small, But again, this helps, and each industry has its own average CTR on Facebook, but this helps put things into perspective, okay? So if I ran an ad and I showed that ad 800 times and I got 27 clicks, ooh, I kind of have a lower click-through rate there. But if I showed that ad 800 times and I had 400 clicks, 400 clicks on that ad, you have a very high click-through rate. So what does that tell you? If you have a low click-through rate, you're not targeting either the right person. Your ad creative just isn't what we call thumb stopping for people to scroll through and drop their thumb and stop. Something isn't working. People aren't engaging with that ad. We need to switch it up a little bit. But if you have a very high click-through rate, it's performing very well, right? But it's all a piece of the marketing puzzle. A lot of times when I'm auditing certain accounts for clients and they say, we're spending some money on Facebook, we're getting some clicks, but nothing's happening. There's other factors, right? Like your Facebook ad could be running just fine, achieving average click-through rates, getting clicks over, but maybe your website copy isn't compelling enough, right? For them to then call, for them to buy something. So it's just a piece of the puzzle to then send someone to another area, your website, and then hopefully the website then can convert people over there. But again, click-through rate is one benchmark that I like looking at. Okay, this is our last slide. So the one thing I do want to leave you with is a website called the Meta Blueprint. There's a variety of courses and tutorials on here. You can actually get certified from Facebook, from Meta, to be a certified Facebook advertiser, which is really cool. So definitely look into that. So I know that was a ton of information to go over, right? Everything from ad type to adding in your audience. It obviously is a little tricky to do in the time that we have, but hopefully this really helped explain some terminology to help you kind of set you up for success when you are setting up your campaigns either for the first time or going back through and refining some of your campaigns for 2024. So at this time, I'm going to hand this over to Jordan and see if we have any questions, and we can go from there.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Scott. Let me make sure there we go. All right. We do have a few questions that have been submitted. So let me get up to the top here. So just a quick question in general says, I've been using TikTok a lot and I've been sharing these on Facebook and Instagram. What are your feelings on this? Should they be separate?
Great. And you said sharing TikTok videos on Instagram?
Facebook and Instagram, yeah.
Facebook and Instagram, great. I don't mind that. I think a lot of people do that. If anything, it does show that you have a TikTok presence on that other platform. Right now, it's hard to ask me because I am not what am I trying to say here? I don't personally use TikTok, and I don't know what the future of TikTok is going to look like. Just because at least this past year, I think things have calmed down a little bit, but our government was looking into a certain ban of TikTok. Certain universities have banned TikTok on their Wi-Fi networks. So there's things that make me just a touch uneasy going all in and recommending our clients on TikTok, but there's no doubt that there's an audience on that platform. There's no doubt that you could grow your business on that platform. So sharing those videos over to your Instagram page, over to your Facebook page is still a solid strategy. The one thing I do recommend though is, when TikTok first started coming out, we did have people say, hey, should I start this TikTok account? And then I look and I'm like, well, you already have 500, 1,000 followers on Instagram. Why not start creating Reels? It's already a built-in platform. You already have followers on there. So maybe start there and then go to TikTok. So to answer your question, I think that's a great strategy. I certainly recommend still trying to create Reels within Instagram themselves. So maybe create a different one for Instagram and see if maybe that one performs better because you're actually making that video within Instagram. But there's no harm in sharing that TikTok video to your other social media platforms.
Perfect. The next one is one question with one that's built off of it. It says, can I link a Facebook shop / IG shop to Ads Manager? And the follow-up is, do we offer any webinars for setting up TikTok, IG / Facebook shops?
Yes, we do have a, I can't remember the title of it, Jordan, but we do have a webinar that we gave last year about setting up shops on your Facebook and Instagram page. If you have a e-commerce site like Shopify, Shopify has built-in integrations where they can connect beautifully. The one issue, though, that we saw with setting up a shop on Facebook and Instagram is when that first came out, you had the option of, do you want to send people to your website to check out on the website, or do you want customers to check out on Facebook? And most of the time, people wanted the user to check out on the website, right? So it's kind of acting as a store, right? You have your categories, you have your different products, but then you say check out and it goes to your website. Now, any new shops that are set up on those platforms, you have to check out directly through Facebook and Instagram. So then there's a whole payment thing that you have to set up. So I believe that's probably one that will, I would say, do again later this year. But it's certainly one that we would have to go back through and refresh because they made some major changes to the integration, I think just last year. But good question.
All right. Sorry, did you answer the first one? Sorry if I missed it. Can you link it to your Ads Manager?
Yes, yep.
Okay, sorry if I was making sure I
sorry,
didn't miss the question.
Yep.
Okay, the next one says, in carousel ads, how do you change each picture to use different URLs?
Great. Yep. So when you go into your carousel ad itself, it will, you want to make sure first you click carousel. It's going to give you some options. Do you want this to be a single photo or video? Do you want it to be a carousel? You're going to click carousel, and then you're going to see an area that says add image cards. Okay. You have to add at least 2 of them for the preview to start showing up. So you click add image card, and then it will just, again, walk through each one of the fields. It will say, upload your photo, headline, title, and then it will say, I believe it still says destination. Where do you want that card to send people to? What URL? So it should say destination or URL. At the very end, they will have a last card. A lot of times that last card will just show your logo. And so when you're done creating all your cards, we'll then have another area where you can add in a URL. So a lot of times that last card would just send people to a home page. But again, if you don't want each card to send someone to a different URL, it's really nice because they came out with a button recently that says apply to all cards. So you can set your headline description and URL for the first card, click apply to all cards, and it'll apply to the rest of them. But it should just be within, again, as you're walking through the setup, just the different drop downs, and just make sure that you go slow and fill in all the fields. You'll see it there.
All right. The next one says, does tagging at followers circumvent boosting?
Sometimes it does. Yeah, sometimes it does. And every once in a while, when you do, great question, when you do post something to Facebook, every once in a while that boost post button is faded out for whatever reason. And there's so many different rules and regulations that you could read through in the help section of maybe why that was faded out. But yeah, every once in a while, if you tag someone, I don't know if it's for everybody, if you're allowed to tag a person, business, or organization and then boost it. I don't know if they turn it off or if it's just for people who have certain privacy settings to where that boost isn't available. You might need to play with that one. But yeah, every once in a while, it will give you a faded button, which means you can't do that. The one thing I'll add too is every once in a while, when you do submit, I should have mentioned this earlier, but when you do submit your ad to Facebook, it will go under a pending review period. And typically it takes sometimes an hour, sometimes a day, and then Facebook will review and approve your ad. Every once in a while, it gets declined. And it really doesn't tell you exactly why it was declined, but it will give you a link to an article with here's 20 different options of maybe why it was declined. And you really can't get any help or support on the phone. So just go through each one of those, but very rarely are things declined. We've seen ads where we set up an ad and then it was declined, and we read through everything and we're like, I don't understand why this was declined. And so you can request a human review. And a lot of times that second human review, they're like, yep, our system missed this. We're going to approve the ad. Because a lot of times the first one, it's a computer. Good old artificial intelligence reviewing the ad, and sometimes it gets it wrong.
All right, our next one, Jolene, you asked about if we'd be covering costs of ads when we talk about budgeting. If you have like a more specific question, let us know. Happy to help, but I know Scott did touch on, when you are budgeting. The next one says, sorry if you already mentioned this and I missed it, but how do I know if my ads are having an impact on sales? Is there a way to track if a customer who clicked on an ad made a purchase?
Yes, that's more of an advanced question. So that is, let me see if I can find the article real quick. 1 second. Okay. That is, I can put this in here in the chat. We've talked about this tool briefly in other webinars, but this is certainly more of like a 201 kind of advanced level, but there is something called the Facebook Pixel Code, or for event tracking. So very similar to like Google Analytics, where you can say, hey, I want to run this campaign and I want to send people over here. And then if they perform this action, count that as an event, count that as a conversion. Different platforms call it different things. But yes, there is a way to do that. It certainly does take a little more tech savviness to get it set up, because you do need to work with your web developer to install line of code and certain things on the back end of your website. But more information can be found about that. It's called the Facebook like event tracking, or Facebook Pixel. And I did drop a link that at least can quickly explain kind of what those two tools are. But that is a possibility, yes. And we may be covering that in a more kind of advanced level if those on the card be interested in a topic like that in the future. Jordan and I are always looking for new topic ideas. So.
All right, and we have two more quick ones. The first one is, can you link to a landing Facebook page? My organization doesn't have a website.
Okay. Yes, you could. I'm trying to think. To me, it's almost like you're promoting the Facebook page that the ad is coming from. So it's for that, I would say your main goal is to maybe increase awareness, increase followers. So I've seen ads where it says, here's this page, it says like page in the corner. I would think that's probably the ad type, is that one of your goals is to increase followers to your Facebook page. Since you're not sending people to your website, or if you don't have a website, and if you're really looking for ways to increase maybe your main communication channel, which is Facebook, I certainly recommend looking into that. The one thing I will add to that is I am a big advocate for websites, and I know they can get costly depending on what platform you dive into. But you also don't want to eliminate those who may not have Facebook, right, to accessing some information. So having a website for those who aren't on social media, like my dad, he only is on Twitter. Having a website would be great. GoDaddy and Google websites are two free / very, very inexpensive ways to get a very simple website up. It won't be anything fancy, a little templated, but those are two options if you're looking for just something quick and easy to have at least a website up.
All right, and the last one before we wrap up today's session says, what's your budget recommendation on spending on an ad on Facebook for general promotion for an online store?
Yep. So again, it kind of depends on the average cost of the item that you're looking to sell, right? Someone that, like a car dealership looking to sell a Lexus, is probably going to spend a little more than someone who is selling like lotion online, right? But what I've seen is, for like boosting a post, anywhere between like $20 to $50 for the week for 2 weeks, right? So that's a kind of average I've seen, quick and easy, again, very general, for boosting a post for maybe a couple weeks. And then for advertising, typically we, depending on how long you want to run the ad, we try to run ads within like 30-day periods. So a nice kind of solid month campaign. I would say if you're going to do that, or just again, a general campaign, something around, I would $250, $200 starting, right? And then going up from there. Again, it's hard because you may have someone who has a lot of competition in the area, or the product that they sell is a kind of a high price point. You may then want to bump it up because you may not worry about, oh, spending $2.50 per click on something that costs $1,500 to buy, right? But $2.50 on a product that only costs, $20 to buy, that starts getting kind of high. So, but in just without knowing too much about your business, of course, I would say, yeah, that what $20 to $50 for a week or two boosting, starting around 200 to 250 and up for make a 30-day campaign. Start there. Again, you'll definitely see metrics on any type of budget, and that's what's great on Facebook.
All right, well, we are all caught up on questions. I do want to reiterate that you're going to get a copy of this recording. So I know lots of great information was shared, and then Scott answered all of your guys' questions. So if you want to go back and re-listen to any of that, you will have access to do that. That follow-up email will go out first thing tomorrow morning. So be on the lookout for that. I will share links to various resources in that as well. So thank you everyone for joining us today. And thank you so much, Scott, for presenting.
Thank you. And again, thank you so much for joining. I hope to see you at one of our next webinars. Have a good rest of your day. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.